I'm Lily Shaw, and this is Ziggy, and I have just completed Plant Lab's Fundamentals of Raw Cuisine Level 1. So, as part of the final project for this course, students were required to develop a 3-course meal and then execute 2 of those dishes. My 3-course meal consisted of a trio of dips, a savoury tart, and a Bailey's cheesecake. So for the first course, the trio of dips, voila. This was a combination of 3 green dips, a smoky walnut tuile, and pickled apples. So definitely one of the most challenging processes or components throughout the final project was the smoky tuile. I probably tried it about 6 or 7 different types of recipes along the way. The big challenge was getting both the consistency right, the kind of level of natural oils or added oils in the recipe right, the binders, and then also the dehydration time, because if I took it too far, then the pastry or the cracker would no longer be pliable enough to form into shapes. And then the smokiness element was created using both a smoked paprika powder and also a liquid smoke. And the final result, I'm super happy with it. It's incredibly buttery, it's rich, but it's fine. And you've got that kind of crispy, crunchy element with the sesame seeds as well. It's also very, very fragrant. The second item on my 3-course menu was a savoury cashew tart. The base was a super fine and fragrant lemon and za'atar almond crust. And then on the inside was a savoury, creamy, kind of cheesy cashew filling with tamari mushrooms, olives, and it was made super kind of light and fluffy with the use of sea kelp noodles, which was a really it was a brand new technique that I'd never heard of prior to taking this course. So that was super fun to incorporate in a savoury tart this time. For my third dish, and the one that I executed for the final project, I chose to do a kind of take on, I guess it's kind of like a tiramisu. That was the inspiration. But I actually chose to use Bailey's as the liqueur, and then I did a beautiful salted hazelnut crumb with a espresso foam. Turned out so good. So this dish was super fun to make. I love making raw desserts, and I love kind of building upon layers of kind of flavors of chocolate and coffee and cream using plant-based ingredients. So this was super fun. The Bailey's cheesecake was exceptionally cool because even though Bailey's has actually come out with a vegan version of their drink, I can't actually source it in Israel or Tel Aviv, so I had to make my own. So that was a really fun experience, relatively simple as well. I would probably, if I were making this dish again, I would up the Bailey's factor. I did add more to it through the recipe testing process than I initially thought I was going to have, but once the cheesecake set, it still, I feel like it could use an extra kind of punch. So maybe either by incorporating more Bailey's in the cheesecake or through maybe doing like a Bailey's syrup over the top, or a Bailey's ganache, something delicious. I suppose throughout the recipe process, the recipe testing process for this dish, another thing that changed was the espresso foam element, which started out as an espresso ice cream, then an espresso mousse, and then finally I ended up going with a foam, which turned out really well. It's super stable, as you can see. I'm glad I ended up going with something like a foam because I didn't really want to add an extra creamy element to this dish. The cheesecake is cashew based and it's already super, super creamy and decadent. So I kind of wanted something a little bit lighter to add to it. So those are my 2 executed dishes. I've had an amazing time taking this course. I learned a ton of really interesting new techniques. And that concludes my final project presentation for Plant Lab Fundamentals of Raw Cuisine Level 1. I'm Lily Shaw, signing out of Tel Aviv, Israel. That's all.